Hello, everybody. Welcome to PyCon, and we're excited to come talk with you at this tech table about an inclusion decision tree. As a lot of us making policy reform decisions know, it's best practice really to include the people that you are trying to affect when you're making those decisions at the policy level. And this is just a very simple tool to help you decide if you're really doing that. So my name is Laura Furr, and I am an independent contractor, among other things, to support shared decision making. And some values that I try to operate on is nothing about us without us. We should be involving people who are going to be affected by the decisions in the decisions that we are making. We need to include people who are traditionally disenfranchised from power roles, in particular in these kinds of decisions. It's easy to include someone who is used to sitting in meetings and making their voice heard. It's harder to include people who sometimes get pulled out of those decisions. People are experts about their own experiences and lives, and we can learn from that. And then shared decision making makes organizations stronger and more successful. It also makes policy decisions stronger and more successful, and can result in additional funding opportunities as well, as a note. So this is the inclusion decision tree. Again, very simple. There's 5 questions here that you would answer if you're trying to figure out if you're really including the people who are involved in the or who would be affected in the decision. So the first question is the person you're trying to affect with this decision involved in making the decision? If not, why not? If there's a way to prevent the risk that you're concerned about and still include affected people in the decision, can you do that? And what are the opportunities you have to increase their active contribution to the decisions? If they are involved in the decision, how are they involved? And then again, are there opportunities to increase their active contribution to the decisions? I'm going to walk through each of these questions and talk through a little bit what your considerations here might look like. So is the person you're trying to affect with this decision involved in making the decision? And here I'd encourage you to think broadly. So for example, I was once involved in a advocacy project to try to change the law around youth being charged as adults in Maryland. We had young people who had been charged as adults in that decision-making process of what should we be suggesting as a different law. And one of the young people identified an unintended consequence that we had totally not thought about. And it made the end result, the end suggested policy much stronger to have had that input. If the person you're trying to affect with the decision is not involved, why not? For example, are you concerned about sensitive information about individuals that you can't share? Or are you concerned, and this is particularly true in the criminal justice system context, about someone putting themselves at risk of sharing something about their lives that might put them at risk for prosecution? And those are all totally legitimate concerns, and we need to make sure that we're protecting both the data of individualized individuals, but also of the people that we're engaging in the decision-making process. But is there a way to adjust so that you can include the affected people in the decision? So for example, in the case of something where you have individualized sensitive data, can we flip over to using aggregate data that's non-identifiable? Or in the even more extreme case, can we just use publicly identifiable data, keep it very simple, and be able to really engage the expertise and the experiences of the people that we're asking to be involved in the decision, rather than really focusing on the data in that instance? If they are involved, how are they involved? Are they giving input at the outset of the decision? Are they reviewing plans and providing feedback? Do they really have a vote or a voice in the room when the decision is made? The ideal here, of course, is that they're doing all 3, and even more, that they're really part of the initial conversation. They have an opportunity to be engaged in the overall sort of nitty-gritty decision-making pieces that we all go through when we're trying to create good policy. And then are they really there to help make the decision of, yes, we're going to do this, or no, we're not going to do this, and really what's going to be included here. And so are there, as we think about all of these different types of engagement, or even additional types of engagement, are there opportunities to increase the active contribution that people are making to the decisions that we're making? So that's the inclusion decision tree. I hope it was helpful for you and is useful for you as you go forward with your reform decisions. And this is my website if you have additional contacts or additional questions and want to get in touch with me. Thanks so much.